Okay, greetings again, y'all. I'm so sorry about like the technical difficulties we've been having this evening, but great news, as you all can see, I do have Selika Corley-Funchess on with us. And did I say your name correctly with everything?
Funchess. It's fine.
Okay.
It happens.
Okay. So, Selika is actually an international speaker and advocate for human trafficking, and she got into the I don't want to say industry, but into this line of work or this
Right.
area due to her own experiences. And so, I tried to share a little bit about your like what happened with your daughter, but I think it'd probably be best if you did like a quick rundown for everyone so they can know what the situation was.
Yeah. So basically, this was the career that was chosen for me, not by choice, but by circumstance, or some may say happenstance. My daughter came up missing in 2012, and she was recovered in 2013. Didn't know at the time that such thing that there was a such thing, and especially that it was going on in Mississippi. And so once she was recovered, and I started learning more and more and more about this, and I'm like, why are you guys not broadcasting this? These babies are coming up missing. These adults are coming up missing. And so I just kind of went off like a fire and just sharing. I can't share her testimony. It's not mine to share. It's hers. But I can tell you from the heart of a mother what families endure when these things happen.
Wow. And that was the thing. Even when I interviewed you last year, I was just like, this is in Mississippi. Like, I just never. And the thing is, and even still, whenever I think about it now, I'm just like, and it could, with Mississippi being so rural, we think about the
Right.
city, and so you don't really think about it. But that means it seems like it could be possibly going on even more so, because it's not one of those places that you instantly think, oh, human trafficking goes on here. But I know that you also possibly know
Right.
some statistics as well. Can you share like some stats with us? Because I'm just like, I think that we're
Sure.
now having these conversations, but this has been going on for a
Hmm.
while.
It's been going on a very long time. And like I said, it possibly could have been something that I could have done differently, or something that I could have said, just to get awareness out prior to this happening. And so basically there's been a 25% increase in cases from 2017. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's just a total from December of 2018, there were 10,949. These are just reported cases, because we know that victims of trafficking first of all, they do not self-identify as victims of trafficking, because it's my family, it's my mother's boyfriend, it's my mother's husband, it's my stepdad, my stepmom, my uncles, my brothers, those type of things. And so they don't think of it as being trafficking. Um,
And
and so
I'm
again,
sorry, I have
mhm,
to ask right here,
no
because
problem.
just even with you saying that,
Mhm.
like when initially I'm thinking, okay, these are people that we don't know, but you just named people that we do know. So
Right.
it's like, but is it more so it's not like this is molestation or something. These are actually relatives of these people. This is coming.
Exactly.
Relatives of these people are trafficking them out.
Exactly. It can be one or the other. Even with cases of domestic violence, if your partner is sending you out there and you don't get any of the money, and this is just to supply their drug habit, that's
Oh,
also considered trafficking, because you're not receiving anything from that. They're taking all of the profits, and they're doing whatever they wish to do with it, whether it's to go in their pockets or to fund their drug habit.
wow. And I think it's so important that you just said that, because
Hmm.
Anya and I are always talking about, how oftentimes we don't even realize the situations that we're in until we can identify them. So someone could
That's
be
right.
listening right now and not even realizing it. I've heard
Exactly.
of people that might go out there for a boyfriend or whatever, trying to
Hmm.
take care of him, and
Right.
they're not even. So now I do understand. Like, a lot of people might not identify as sex trafficking victims because
Right.
they don't even know that that's what they're in.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, and it, people say all the time that it's hiding in plain sight, and it definitely is. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know the signs, if you don't know, those just vital things that can make a difference in life or death.
So what are some of those signs then?
Yeah, you can have. I know for some of like the larger cities, they have brandings. They could have tattoos. They could have barcodes. A lot of them, that belong to the same pimp. They could even have the same jacket, same coat. They can have a particular part of town. A lot of them are, they can be, and from those that I have worked with, let's say that they have been injected with drugs, where they could appear to be addicted to drugs, but some of them are, and they use that to their advantage to keep supplying them with the drugs as long as they keep going out and making the money. You have people that are not from here into the city, just like for Jackson. A lot of the young ladies that I've run into are not originally from Jackson. They were brought here or brought through here. Whether I met them at the juvenile detention center or whether I met them, doing a community service event. I run into them, whether it's a narcotics thing or something like that. Mm-hmm. I've run into young girls from other cities. They're not from here. They're not familiar with the area. You ask them basic questions like who's the mayor, or who, and that, it could be, some people live in cities and they don't know those things. But, right. If they're not from here, you can ask them those basic questions. Where are you living? How long have you been here? Where's your identification? Who has your identification? What are some of the other cities where you've been? And I know sometimes with domestic violence, you can ask them something as simple as, how many girlfriends does your boyfriend have? And it triggers, okay, well, my boyfriend has, because a lot of them will think all of these girls that, we're all his girlfriends. And they don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Wow. Look, I'm already really shocked. Like, these are not things that I would just instantly think of, wow. So as for lately, I know the main reason why, as I was saying earlier, even though I already wanted to speak with you about your work, but then we saw that video surface the other day with the young lady who talked about her own experiences, and it was just like it kind of set off something online. Like, a lot of people, I don't think, were aware of how common this might be now. And then was she actually located in Atlanta? The girl, do you remember? Do you know?
I think at that time she was in Atlanta, but I don't really recall. And some people don't think that. A lot of people have this myth or this perception that this is something that they choose to do. But if a minor is under the age of 18, it's trafficking, whether they consent to it or not. But they will say, well, they consented to do it or they want to do it. And a lot of people don't pay it any attention because they think it's a choice. But they don't realize how brutal some of these pimps or these traffickers can be, with them beating them if they don't meet their quota, if, putting the cigarettes out on them. They have missing teeth, or they get the other girls to jump in, to jump on them if they don't meet the quota. So they don't realize that pressure that they're under, because that pimp has wined and dined them. If they have that Romeo pimp that's wined and dined them, and they're basically in love with him at that point. And so this is what my boyfriend asked me to do. And, I don't see anything wrong with it because he loves me. Once I make him this money, then he said I can stop. And then you never stop. You never stop.
Wow. That is so sad. And I asked the question about Atlanta because, we have a big market there. That's actually like our biggest market. And then I'm actually from Macomb, Mississippi, that's right outside of Jackson. So I'm just like, these are all, my areas right here. So like, right. For me, it's just like, okay, well, what can we do? How can we, try to, for one, inform women, but also just like, do you have any tips or anything? I know that the guy in the video, I don't know if you saw the one that had it was like maybe 5 slides or something to it. And he shared some tips. And I know he was talking about how to get in your car, how to watch where the white vans and things like that. But is there anything else, that you can add to that? Because I don't know who he was. I don't even know how he, where his knowledge came from.
Yeah, basically just always be aware of your surroundings. Whether you're by yourself or whether you're with friends or family. For me, I try not to go out after dark. I try not to park in the crowd, with all the car. I try to park out. If you don't feel safe, if they have store security, get them to walk you to your car as well. And before you even get to your car, start looking around your car. Look under your car, because they can be under your car, yank you by your ankles or your feet. You're down to the ground. Nobody sees anything.
Wow. And I noticed that you said that you don't park in the crowded areas. I'm
No,
wondering why. Like, it seems like you'd have to go. Then you're separating yourself from everyone, right? If you're
but you're easily seen because if you're parked with everyone else, you're between cars.
oh, okay, okay,
So if they have cameras or anything, they can see plainly, if there's a scuffle or something is going on. You won't have like interruptions from the recordings or anything of that sort.
So outside of like being out in public places
Hmm.
or our vehicles, are there any other places that we might should be mindful of, or more aware?
Anywhere, absolutely anywhere. I when you're talking with people and you're asking them about their history, especially when it comes to trafficking, and they tell you that their first experience was at the church or through the church or things of that nature. So that's why I tell people be aware wherever you are, especially when you're vulnerable. Women, if you're coming out of a domestic situation or any type of assault or abuse, give yourself time to heal, go to counseling, because that's when you're the most vulnerable, and they can see that, they can read that on your face.
They can take advantage of you.
Yes, yes,
But now I have to ask this too, though. So you've had
yes,
instances whereas you've dealt with victims who were trafficked through a church. Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Wow. In Mississippi?
yes.
Wow. Okay.
So
This is
yes,
this is just like all mind blowing. This is just, and again, I can't want to say like this type of stuff doesn't happen around here. But there was something else I wanted to ask, but I forgot what that was. But also, I just wanted to know because I don't know if everyone heard earlier when you were just saying how a lot of times it might actually be trafficking when we're thinking that we're in those and when we're in relationships. So when I
right,
asked that question originally, like if there are places to be mindful of, it hit me like that could be anywhere, right in your home.
absolutely
You talked
anywhere.
about the relatives, you talked about the boyfriends, and so on. So I guess there isn't just like there is no there is some type of safe place or a specific area to have more heightened awareness. But
Right.
would you also say like from your work, has is it more common within the Black community, and also is it more common within like for Black girls or Black boys or Black women or men? Like is there what are some of those statistics like?
Yeah, I would say it's gonna be us, mainly from the cases that I've seen. I've seen a few from other nationalities, but for the most part, it's gonna be with our Black women. Yes.
um, And now, do you think that because we are hearing more about it, like as far as just from what you're seeing, and of course, for those who don't know, you do work with the Hinds County Sheriff's Department now. Would you say that there has been any type of improvement? Like, what's the percentage of the women that are recovered?
Mm. And I always use this term. Well, I always see this term. When it comes to missing children or missing adults, and they say found safe. What does that actually mean? When you've been through this trauma and you've been sexually assaulted day after day, what does safe really mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's mind blowing. That when people say that and they really don't think about that. I say found, because found safe. I tell people you never get the child that you raised. You never get that child back. That child is has gone through some things, and you as a parent, and you as a family member, you as a community member, you go through things as well. And it's just it's mind blowing that we still use terms like slavery and bondage, things, terms like that. In 2019, almost 2020, we still use those terms. That people actually think that they own other people and that they have a right to do so. It's 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 trauma. It's like I said, it's not just, and when we understand from the victim standpoint, but those victims have families, they have sisters, they have brothers, they have grandmothers. So it's not just that one person. And so when I go out and I talk to young girls and they say, well, it's my life, I get to do what I want to do. No, you have other people who genuinely care about you.
So also I wanted to know, um, oh my question. I'm sorry, my question just escaped me. I wanted to know for one,
Hmm.
like if there are signs that we can you know, look for, like to, you
Hmm.
know, to be able to help someone if they might be in a situation. And then I also wanted to know, do you you know, can you share a little bit about grooming? Because grooming can fall into this as well, right? Okay, I recently learned of
Education.
that myself, not maybe like last year, and
Hmm.
I was just like shocked that when I kept hearing the word, I wasn't understanding what they were doing. But I really think
Right.
it's important for parents to know about this as well.
Yes. Especially with our young girls, new friends, especially with the older boyfriend, younger girlfriend type thing. Especially, new friends, those new friends. And back in my day, our parents knew our friends, they knew their moms, they knew their families.
Yeah.
Um, but now, we have more parents out of the home working, and children are sometimes left to their own a lot of times. So we want to look out for that. Changes in attitude, changes in their wardrobe. You know that they're wearing things that you didn't purchase for them. They're not working. So where's this stuff coming from? Especially a change in attitude. When you get with the new friend, and the new friend is the popular kid. For our teachers, if you're in the classroom and you see this child who's being bullied and their self-esteem is low, and they may not have the newest Jordans, or they may come to school dirty or something like that, and all of a sudden you see a 360. Now this child is coming, their hair is done, they have nails, they have these expensive clothes, they have purses. Those are things to be aware of, especially if you're in the classroom, because not only are these traffickers grooming, but they're teaching the young ladies and the young men that they have under their control to go out there and recruit as well. And so they're in the classrooms, they're in the high schools, they're in the middle schools, and they're recruiting, and they're aiming and targeting those children, like I just described, who may have been bullied, and that child is okay. Well, I have a friend now, or that child is being bullied, or they have low self-esteem, and just say the captain of the football team now has an interest in them, and in order for me to stay popular now, and he wants me to go and do all these favors for his other friends that are on the football team or the baseball team or the basketball team, whatever sport it may be, that person may continue to do that, and that is a form of trafficking. If you love me, you'll go and you'll do what I ask you to do with my buddies. You won't question it. If they'll bring the money back to me, and you're still my girlfriend. That's not a healthy relationship. And so we have to start very young with our young girls and our young guys with what a healthy relationship looks like.
Even with that, that's just like a
Hmm.
whole nother scenario that
Hmm.
would just have come to mind. And I have to ask again, uh, like, what about, because I mean, either way, it's wrong. But I'm
Right.
just kind of curious, like, for our young men, just what you just said, you know, we have
Hmm.
to be able to talk to them, because even as wrong as that is, kids do these type of things nowadays. Like I
Yes.
had someone else on not long ago, and she was just saying, you know, these teenagers are having the same sex that we were once having, basically. So the fact that that type of thing could be so common that it could actually occur, and this,
Yes.
you know, these young men don't even realize, you know what I mean, like just
That
how,
they're breaking a law.
right, just how big of, you know, how big of a deal this really is. So
Hmm.
it goes beyond just us being careful as women or as girls, but also just even just talking to our sons, you know, just, oh, it's so deep to
It,
me. I
it
don't know
really
how
is.
everybody else feels, but like it's just so many ways. And even when you said it in the classrooms, like I have teenagers, you know, so
Right.
it's just like how can people not be paying attention to this?
That's right. That's right.
So as like as a community, what can we do? You know, like how can we
As a
help?
community, the first thing that we have to do is get educated. We have to go out into these trainings, and that's what I'm out there doing all the time. All the time, I'm training. For churches, for youth groups, for anyone who wants to book me. Because it's like I said, that was something that I didn't know, and it said that we had to go through that ordeal. But now that I have it, and I have the ability to pour into others, to teach them what to be on the lookout for. We have to believe. A lot of children, when they disclose, people don't believe them. We have to believe our children when they tell them they don't feel comfortable around some people.
Yeah.
If someone's touched them inappropriately, we have to start with believing our children. And then we have to put the action behind the words. We have to be our children's biggest advocates. Because if they see there's no parental support, they can basically have their way. They don't want to deal with mama bears and papa bears that are, aggressive and say, hey, no, this is not going to happen.
Right.
Those are the things that they move away from. Active parenting, they move away from that.
Wow.
And we have to arm our, and I know I say our girls a lot, but we have to arm our girls with the ability to say no, the ability to not succumb to that peer pressure.
Right.
They have to be their own person.
And just one last question for those that you have found, well, that you all have found before. Do they typically like return back to that lifestyle, or is it just like the
majority of them that I have been in contact with? Yes. There was one, I found a treatment center for her to go to, and they sent the ticket, and I stayed with her and put her on the bus, and not 30 days later, I received a call that, guess who I'm looking at? And I said, I'm on my way. Just tell me where you are, and I'm on my way. And so when I get there and I see her, and I'm angry because I know I had to jump through hoops to get her the services, because just think about it. If I told you we had 10,949 reported cases and we have fewer than 630 beds in the U.S., wow. Tell me what kind of hoops I had to go through to get her somewhere to go. And then she's back. Not only is she back, she has a minor with her. And so I know that she's a victim, but now she's victimizing a minor. And so now she has a charge of trafficking. And so it goes on and on and on.
It's a cycle.
Yes. I have some that have, they've contacted me and, hey, I'm in treatment, and they disappear. I haven't seen or heard from them in years. And it's heartbreaking, but, when you've done the best that you know that you can do, and you pray for them, and you just keep praying. You have to keep praying. And you have to get out there and you have to keep doing the same thing over and over, and keep reaching them, and keep trying to find those facilities to get them on the path to healing, because it takes a lot.
Well, is there anything else that you think that we need to share, we didn't touch on?
Yes, with our young ones, and this is a thing that I see a lot. And there are a lot of stories that I hear associated with this. With our young ones, parents, moms, dads, guardians, uncles, aunts, whomever, stop sending these little babies to the restroom by themselves. Please stop doing that.
Yeah. Because I'm shocked that people even still do that, to be honest. I thought we had already moved on past it.
Yes. There was actually a post that I was reading on social media a few weeks ago, that the child was allowed to go into the restroom by herself, and the mom realized that she had been in there a little bit longer. So she goes into the restroom, and there's two people in there, had incapacitated her child, were trying to put a wig on her and change her clothes to get her out of the store. So that's the type of stuff that's happening in these restrooms when you're not accompanying these children.
Wow. Well, I just I don't know. I mean, all we can do, I'm not gonna say all we can do is pray. I'm gonna try to make certain that we continue to try to educate as well.
Bring that awareness. We have to bring that awareness. We have to, because people don't realize what they're looking at, And then, we have these myths that, again, this is what she chooses to do. If she's under 18, she cannot choose this lifestyle. She cannot choose this, because the girls that I've come into, the quota is $1,000 a day. Just imagine 16, 17, 18-year-old, what they have to do to bring back that trafficker or daddy, as they call him, $1,000 a day. Imagine. And then what happens when they don't meet that quota?
Right. One thing, and I kept trying to find a way to formulate this question, and it just hit me. Should we suspect that we're actually seeing one of these type of situations? What would we do, or what should we do?
Yes. You can reach out to law enforcement. You can also reach out to the human trafficking hotline at 888-373-7888. If you can't remember that number, you can text HELP to 233-733, and then so that they can get that help out to you. There are task forces that are, placed throughout the country in different states that are trained in what to look for and how to go in and do these rescues. Let law enforcement handle it, because that's what these specialized teams are out there for. That's what they do day in and day out. They know how to do it. The worst thing that you can do is try to take away a trafficker or a pimp top producer. If he has $1,000 quota for all of his girls and she's bringing him 3,000, and you think you're just going to come and try to rescue her, it's not going to be that simple. It's not.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Selika, for coming on and sharing these things with us, and just these stats. And I don't know how enlightening this has been for the viewers, but for me alone, just the different scenarios, I'm just really appalled at what all is categorized as human trafficking, and as well as there's just so many things. I think I have to go back and unpack this interview afterwards myself. I saw the video and I was like, okay, we got to do something. And I was like, hey, there's Selika. I already been saying to get back in touch with her, but this is just mind blowing to me. And I'm one of those type of people, like when I catch whiff of something, I can't unsee it, And so now it's just like really.
Yes. And I encourage everyone, go to the National Human Trafficking Hotline and you can pull the stats for your state. You can pull the stats for your state. You can pull up the stats for your state from 2018, 2017, go all the way back. You can pull resources that may be in your area if you find someone, if you suspect that, to try to get them on the right path. But definitely go, and you would really be surprised at the stats for your area. Georgia, 375 cases for 2018.
One last question, sorry, because I was going to ask this. Do you think that in these instances, whereas, we've been talking about a lot of different Black women and Black girls missing, do you think that the majority of these cases are along the lines of human trafficking?
I believe so. I believe that a lot of these women, these young girls, I believe they are still living. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there was an article, and if I find it, I'll send it to you, in Michigan, where they had one bus and they recovered over 200 people, and 193 were from that area. 180, 190 were from right there in that area.
Wow. Yeah, if not, I might try to find it because I'm curious as to know how long. I'm certain they're probably going to say how long somebody had been missing, and I want to know more about it. So
exactly.
Okay, well, again, thank you for coming on and chatting with us. And is it okay to list the site, or do you want me to list your Instagram? I want them to be able to know how they can, get in touch with you.
Yes, my Instagram will actually be open for the next hour. So if you follow me on My Passion is My Purpose on Instagram, it will be open for 1 hour.
So let me try to throw this up on the screen. Because I keep forgetting to do our crawlers now. I don't know why, but just 1 second, y'all. Let me try to get it for you so you can see it. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. When BeLive did this update, I'm just not. Oh, wow, that's what I've been doing wrong. Okay, you said My Passion is My Purpose, right?
Yes, on Instagram. Yes.
Okay.
It will be open for 1 hour. I post my events. I'll post little nuggets every now and then. Any trends, anything of that nature. It's going to be on my Instagram.
Okay. Why isn't it showing though? Show caller. There we go.
There it is.
All right. So now y'all can see how to find her. I'm sorry that we have been a little behind with getting our crawlers done. Like, again, we are still new with podcasting and everything. And so far it's been going good, but there's just like a little bit more work that we have to put into things. Sometimes I can be running late. But thank you, Selika, for taking the time out to speak with me this evening. You've been very informative. I don't know if you got to see some of the comments, but I'm certain there's going to be some more as well. Because, and look, someone just said they're following you. Ruby is with Crado. I'm sorry, Ruby. I know
Yes.
I probably spelled it your last name, but yeah. So, and if there's anything that you need from us, like if you need to get something else out, any other updates, then please feel free to to reach out and let us know. Just as a mom, not even just as a media person, but as a mom, this is just the scariest thing. Because even when my daughter and I went out the other day, she was like, "You parked me right beside the white van," and I was like, I didn't even see the van, and I just watched the video. So it's just something that I'm going to be being more mindful of as well.
Yes, please, everyone, please. And it's not just the white vans, and you don't have to be taken out of state for it to be human trafficking. People are trafficked right here, at home, in your hometown every single day. So it's not, they have to, go to another state. You can be trafficked in your state, in your city.
Well, thank you all for tuning in, and you all have a nice night, and peace and blessings, and thank you again, Selika.
Bye, guys. Absolutely, anytime. My pleasure.